Hold up. Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Ooh, that's very bright. There we go. Take that down just a notch. I was looking like lights. Hi, happy Memorial Day weekend. Oh, we hear planes flying over. I live by the airport. It's always a situation. But excuse me 1 second. One second. Hold, please. Hold, please. All right, there we go. So, if you've tuned in for the first time, I am Carla Renata, your host of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you were here. Click that bell for notifications if you were on the YouTube. Today, I have a very light show in the holiday spirit. I'm going to be talking about, like I said, Lilo and Stitch. We're going to talk a little bit about BMF, and we're going to review a film that I really, really enjoyed. It's called The Life of Chuck. So we will talk about all of these things this week. And but before we get into it, let's get into this. I would be less than me if I didn't bring this up today. Today is the anniversary of the death of George Floyd. For those of you who don't remember, back in 2020 or 2019, George Floyd was murdered by a police officer who put his knee on his neck and cut off his air supply, and he was unceremoniously murdered. It was the beginning of a array of different murders that would happen during 2020, prompting a lot of people, including myself and my friend Yvette Nicole Brown, to get out and protest. And we would say, hands up, don't shoot. It's unfortunate that in this country that we've had to do that. And I know I'm a film critic. I'm not a political person, but I am a human being that is a citizen of the United States of America. And so that young man's death was very important because it shaped the way that law enforcement and politicians, frankly, look at people of color and how they treat people of color. So I would be less than me if I didn't say something about that and remind you guys that this is another person whose life was taken in vain, and we should honor him. When people speak of DEI, DEI doesn't mean Black people. It doesn't mean brown people. It doesn't mean Asian people. It means diversity, equity, and inclusion. And those things were put in place to give people of color an equal starting chance in our society, which has been designed to keep people that are less than a certain tax bracket from thriving and instead suffering. So I know that's a really somber note to start on, but it's a reality note, and it's a reality note that we all are living in this day and age. All right, so, and I also wanted to talk about the Cannes Film Festival. So the Cannes Film Festival just wrapped up, and the winners are Jafar Panahi's It Was Just an Accident won the Palme d'Or, Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value won the Grand Prix, Nadia Maletti won Best Actress for The Little Sister, and Wagner Moura won Best Actor for The Secret Agent. The jury prize was shared by Masha Shalinsky for Sound of Falling and Oliver Lax for Surratt. So I just wanted to let you guys know what was happening at the I'm thinking about Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, and to say another thing, that this woman who I think is just awesome. Her name is Mandy Walker. Mandy Walker just got elected as the president of the American Society of Cinematographers. So I wanted to give her a shout out. And I also wanted to give a shout out to someone who I met briefly. So I always talk about being an actress on this show. And one of the things I did as an actress was I was part of a musical production at the Goodspeed Opera House called It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's Superman. The lyrics were written by Charles Strauss. Charles Strauss is one of the lyricists and songwriters who created the musical Annie. And so Charles died this week, and I just wanted to pay a little bit of tribute to him and say that, you know, Charles was a lovely, lovely man. It was a pleasure working with him and for him. And he had a wonderful career and a wonderful life. And because I did know him and I did have an opportunity to work with him, again, I would be less than me if I didn't say something about it. So I just wanted to pay homage to George Floyd, Charles Strauss, and a big congratulations to Mandy on becoming the president of the American Society of Cinematographers. All right. So next week, when I come back, I just want to tell you this now before I forget. Next week, when I come back, I'm going to be back with Alex Michelson on Fox 11 LA. I'm going to be talking about all the wonderful things that you can do to watch movies this summer because, you know, for the last 4 years or so, it's been a situation. So let me get into that right now. So the best summer movie deals are this. The AMC Theater is going to give you 2 AMC tickets, one popcorn, and 2 drinks for $25. That is a summer movie deal that you can get into right now. We don't have B&B theaters here in Los Angeles, but we do have Cinemark and Regal. And Cinemark is doing something called a summer movie clubhouse ticket for just $1.75. I think it's happening only on Wednesdays from June 2nd to the 7th of September. These are movies that you've seen before, but for whatever reason, because the ticket prices were high, families weren't able to go because it's almost $25 per ticket. Imagine a family of 4 trying to go to the movies. It's almost $100 just to go to the movie. That doesn't include the parking, the gas trying to get there, the snacks and all of that. So this is a really great movie deal and something to keep the kids busy. And in accordance to that, Regal Cinemas is doing a Regal Summer Movie Express where they are showing movies for $1, I believe on Wednesdays from June 10th to August 6th. And then another movie outlet for the other for the other movie outlets in other parts of the country. Imagine Entertainment is doing $3 tickets for kids of all ages from July 20th through August 15th. Classic Cinemas is doing $2 Wednesday morning tickets. Harkins Theater is doing $1 kids tickets for 8 weeks. Malco Theaters is doing $3 tickets from June 4th to July 30th. The Phoenix Theater is doing free movies for select 10 a.m. showings on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And the Studio Movie Grill is doing $6 tickets that include a small popcorn and drink at 10 a.m. every Monday through Thursday from May 26th, beginning tomorrow, through August 14th. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of those movie deals that are coming up, because that is something that could save people a lot of money coming up in the time where, you know, we are having such a crisis financially, among other things. So I usually tell you what I did last week. So let me get into that. This woman right here, her name, well, I'll tell you her name in a minute, but I did a voiceover project where I got to work with her. That is in the voiceover booth after we finished the session. Let me tell you something. As a voiceover actress, I very rarely see a woman of color, and I very rarely see a woman of color in charge. And this woman of color in charge is Sydney Clifton. She is the head of creative animation for Mattel TV. Can't say what the project is that I did, but you'll be into it when you find out. But I just wanted to give Sydney a big old shout out. And then I ran over to the Tadum Theater in Hollywood to do a Q&A with the cast of The Residents. If you haven't seen that, that's the new Shondaland series that I'm streaming. It is about this detective who comes in to find out who killed the head usher in the White House during a huge state dinner. It's hilarious, it's dramatic, it's all the things. It has a fabulous cast of people that I had an opportunity to talk to, including my Howard University Bison sister right there. Love her so much. Susan Kalechi Watson. And then This Is Us on the stage. This is when Uzo was coming out, and we all just got up and was cheering for her to come out. But on that panel was Uzo Aduba, who was the star of the series, Giancarlo Esposito, who you see standing up there, Susan Kalechi Watson, who you can't see, but you see her little legs dangling out, Ken Milano, Edwina Finley, who is just crushing it, and Jason Lee. Those were the ones that I did the Q&A with. That is all of us taking a picture beforehand. And this was as we were on our way out, a selfie captured by my girl, Uzo Aduba. Let me just give you a brief little story about Uzo Aduba before I get into, I think that's the only thing I did last week was voiceover. Yeah. So before I get into these movies, let me just give you a brief little story about Uzo. So back in the day, I lived in New York and I was auditioning for Sister Act the Musical. I had done the workshop of Sister Act the Musical here in Los Angeles, and it was now going to be put up as a stage production in London and for Broadway. And I went to audition for it. I had a dreadful audition because the key wasn't in my key. Long story. But while I was sitting there waiting to audition, Uzo came running in, hair all over her head, looking very much like Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black. And she was all verklempt, and she hadn't heard the music and this, that, and the other. So I had an iPod. Remember those iPods? I had an iPod and gave her my iPod to listen to the music. And she was like, "Aren't you afraid I'm not?" She said, "You really gonna let me use this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's not like I don't know where to find you." So I let her listen to the music. I went in, did my dreadful audition, and she went in and did her audition. But she never forgot that moment, and neither did I. And we have become pretty, really good friends. So I just want to tell that story because I thought it was hilarious. Oh, and I also want to remind y'all once again that my half hour with Cross showrunner, Ben Watkins, is up on the Half Hour with channel on YouTube that has been curated by Madeline Hammond Productions. So I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about Life of Chuck first. So Life of Chuck, let me find Life of Chuck. Life of Chuck is this movie that I saw that I really kind of love. It is curated from a short story by Stephen King and reimagined into a feature film written and directed by Mike Flanagan. And this is the extraordinary story of an ordinary man in this unforgettable genre-bending tale celebrating the life of Charles Chuck Krantz as he experiences the wonders of love, heartbreak of loss, and the multitudes contained in all of us. Now, what I will say about this movie is that when it first started, I was like, I don't know what I'm watching. I was like, what is this? I have no idea what this is. But as I began to watch it, it begins to tell the story. It starts backwards and it moves its way to the past. So it starts in the present and then moves its way back to the past. Stephen King stories are so awesome. I love Stephen King stories, but they're oftentimes steeped in horror or thriller or some other type of genre. This is the genre of life. And if I'm being honest, most of Stephen King's pieces stem from the genre of life. At the end of the day, there's always some wonderful story that you gain at the end of his films, regardless of the genre. Like I'll use Carrie as an example. When you watch Carrie, you get that this is a girl who is different. This is a girl who is ostracized. This is a girl who's being emotionally and mentally abused by her mother. This is a girl who, despite her differences, was still able to find friends and then get betrayed and then thinks that she's being betrayed by the very same people that befriended her. That is the humanity that you see in his horror films. You see it in Carrie, is my point. You see it in the Life of Chuck. Even though this is not a horror movie, it's like a sci-fi bending thriller is what it is. It's crazy to watch. It's crazy to look at, But there are some wonderful performances by Chiwetel Ejiofor, um, a career-defining performance by Mark Hamill, who has this monologue where he talks about how important the how important learning math is to life. And it's a beautifully crafted monologue. It makes so much sense. Like when he starts it, you're like, really, math? But then by the time he's finished, you're like, oh, I totally get it. It was beautifully done. I'm really hoping that he can pull what I can't remember the actor's name. Jude, I can't remember his name, but the guy who was in the Fablemans, he had that one monologue that got him an Oscar nomination, and I'm hoping that the same thing happens for Mark Hamill with The Life of Chuck. It's wonderfully entertaining. This film is, and it's unexpectedly emotional. Like I found myself being very emotional because it's reminding me as an audience member to live now, to live in the moment, to live now, because tomorrow is not guaranteed for anybody. So be as joyous as you can and savor every single second, minute, hour, day, month, year that you are given, because you never know if when you lay your head down tonight, you're going to wake up to see the next day. And that is the whole purpose of The Life of Chuck, curated from a Stephen King short story. Check it out if you have an opportunity to. It will be in a theater near you. This is what the poster looks like. It stars Tom Hiddleston, who does a beautiful job. Baby, who knew that Tom Hiddleston had dancing moves? I was like, get it, Tom Hiddleston. He was working it out in a whole dance number. I'm like, okay, I need to see you on Broadway. Leave that Marvel universe behind and go hit Broadway. Karen Gillian is in this. Jacob Tremblay is looking all grown up and very mature and doing a wonderful job as a younger version of Chuck. And of course, Mark Hamill is in this film. It is called The Life of Chuck. Now, Lilo and Stitch, baby. People have been talking about this Lilo and Stitch movie, and I'm going to tell you what about some Lilo and Stitch. It's in theaters now, and it's directed by Dean Fleischer Camp for Disney. This is the same director that gave us that Oscar-nominated animated film called Marcel, the Shell with the Shoes On. Let me say it again, Marcel, the Shell with the Shoes On. So Dean Fleischer Camp gave us that movie. I loved that movie. It made me cry. The Marcel movie made me cry. And I think I wrote about it for RogerEbert.com back in the day. But what I would say is Camp is joining the Mouse House and giving us a live action version of Lilo and Stitch. And this is a beloved property in the Disney zeitgeist, that people love this animated series. They love the animated movie. People love Lilo and Stitch. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said that her grandchild has the sheets, the pillows, the whole nine. Like they are just Lilo and Stitch fanatics. But what I will tell you is that I had all the feels watching this movie, like I was watching E.T. or any film where in an animation franchise where a creature turns out to be a pet, and it comes under such crazy circumstances that you're like, oh, they found a friend. That's how I felt when I watched Lilo and Stitch. Now, I'm somebody that didn't watch the animated series. I rewatched the movie just to get a sense to see what was different between the movie and the series and what I watched when I went to the premiere of Lilo and Stitch. I told y'all about that a couple of weeks ago. But what is really wonderful is that it's coming during the tail end of Asian American Pacific Islander Month. It is totally 1000% honoring the Hawaiian culture. And I know this because as a child, I lived in Hawaii. My father was stationed there, and my brother was actually born in Kailua, Hawaii. So I remember as a kid being taught hula dances and being taught the Hawaiian language and speaking in pidgin, which is a broken form of English, according to the islanders. And I could speak that very well. And I can't do it now, but I remember as a kid, I spoke that very well. They honor that culture, the Hawaiian culture, in the dress, in the music, in the vibe, in the sound. Everything about it is honoring the Hawaiian culture. And I always love to see a film honoring a culture, especially during a time where DEI is on the attack and people are misconstruing and misinforming and misrepresenting that phrase and that word. So to be able to see the Hawaiian culture, which is such a beautiful culture, be represented in this way really warmed my heart. There has been a little bit of controversy about the young lady who plays Nani. Her name is Sydney Agudong, and she is of Filipino and white descent and not Hawaiian. Most of the people in the film are of Hawaiian descent, but Sydney is not. And I think in it's sparking all kinds of controversy, and I get it because in the Black community, I remember there was a big controversy when Chadwick Boseman was playing Thurgood Marshall, and Thurgood Marshall was about as light and bright as they come, and Chadwick Boseman was a dark-skinned brother, and so people were like, he don't even look like him. Or when Angela Bassett played Tina Turner, or when Diana Ross played Billie Holiday, somebody's always going to have something to say. But at the end of the day, Sydney did the daggum thing. She played Nani with such heart and such empathy that, to me, I didn't know about this controversy going into the film. I know about it now. Doesn't matter to me. She did a wonderful job, but I do understand the controversy and the spark over representation. I get it. I just don't agree in this particular instance. The biggest difference, other than what I just stated, is that in the animated version, the character of Cobra Bubbles, it has been split into two characters as opposed to being one. So one of the characters is a social worker being played by Tia Carrera, and the other is a federal agent being played, by Courtney B. Vance. They do a wonderful job, both of them respectively. And it was nice to see Courtney B. Vance be in a franchise of this nature. And it was great to see him at the premiere with his daughter, who's like 10 feet tall. Beautiful. But what I will say is that since Disney has been getting such kickback and drawbacks from doing these live action versions, which, sometimes they look great and sometimes they look a hot mess. Like that Snow White one was not cute. But I dare to say that this live action feature from Disney around Lilo and Stitch is probably their best one to date. It might be the best one I've ever seen, because I'm not a big fan of live action, if I'm being honest. So I always be going into it with one eye open, but I really, really, really enjoyed watching Lilo and Stitch. Stitch. Like I said, it's in theaters now. Now, I know not everybody agrees with me, because my boy Brandon came up in here and he told me that he knows that the remake was okay, but he still prefers the original. The original was way better. And guess what, Brandon? That's okay. People are always going to have something to say about a property that was done originally, and then when a remake is done. I get it. I was that way about The Color Purple. Like, I get it. I love the original Color Purple movie, and when they said they were doing a remake, I was like, why? But then I went to see the remake and found that there were things that I loved about the remake just as much as I did about the original. So I gave it a little bit of a chance. But again, you guys, Lilo and Stitch is in theaters, and it is playing right now. It's a wonderful film to take the family. There were a bunch of kids there and a bunch of adults when I went to see it, and everybody clapped and applauded and laughed and cried. They absolutely loved it. Black Mafia Family is a TV series that has been on Stars for 4 seasons now, and it stars these lovely people: Micole, Briana White, and Russell Hornsby. And this is the poster for the new season. Micole and Russell and I, we go way, 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 way back. Micole and I used to hit the audition circuit all the time. I think that was her at like the season 3 premiere party. We would see each other at auditions all the time. Either she get it or I get it. But she is a lovely human being and a fantabulous actress. And I'm so glad that 50 Cent put her in Black Mafia Family, as I am for my friend Russell Hornsby, who plays Charles. They play Charles and Lucille respectively in Black Mafia Family. And this season got some surprises for y'all. It's a lot going on. So I can't tell you everything, but what I am going to do is I'm going to let the cast talk to you about it. So here we go with Russell Hornsby and Micole Briana White talking about Black Mafia Family on Stars. I love the chemistry that y'all have. I love how y'all play so well off of each other. But what I really love is that y'all was singing this episode, and I get down with the singing. I'm like, okay, all right, come on. With the singing? Were you excited? Were you terrified? Were you challenged? Talk to me.
Uh, all of that, girl. I was like so shocked because I didn't know what was going to happen. And it came up so quickly in the season. They were like, oh, yeah, you're going to be singing a song today. You're supposed to go to the studio tomorrow. Or it might have even, I think maybe I had one day or something in between. So it was like, oh, my God. But it was so exciting. I was just over the moon about it. So it was just a wonderful time. And it's just seconds or whatever when you see it on television, but it was amazing to have the opportunity to do that.
And you were singing too, Russell. I heard you.
Oh, that's right.
I'm having some fun with it. You know what I mean? I need a little bit more of a ramp up running start than Micole does. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
no, it's just fun. It's a lot of fun. It really is. It really was.
It looked like y'all had a good time.
That
So
was that moment when he sang, oh, that was so cool because he had called me the day he was going in the studio and we couldn't talk or whatever that day. And so anyway, he wanted me to hear it. I didn't get a chance to listen, and I heard it for the first time when we were shooting. And it was
Right.
just I'm so glad they caught that moment on screen because it was just so moving and it was just beautiful. It was just such a beautiful moment.
I
It was
love
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
It looked like y'all had a really good time. Now, I
Yeah.
know that Lucille and Charles, y'all have a very complicated yet loving relationship for the sake of family that's being tested in a way beyond its limits this particular season. And Lucille, honey, your faith is shooketh, especially when it comes to Nikki. So what I
Um,
want to know from both of you is, did y'all ever have a moment that went sideways with your parents where you lived to see another day?
I mean, yeah, just yes.
yes.
You live long
Yes.
enough to stay black your whole life. You're gonna have some
Right. Some
issues.
moments like that.
Yes.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I mean, we talk about. I think that's why we're just so tapped into these characters and so rooted because we had this was our upbringing.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
know, this is what it was like for us. So we
Right.
bringing it back. You know what I mean? We old school
Right.
like
Right.
Yeah, I'm old school
Yeah.
too. And when I witnessed some things throughout the season, I was like, yeah, I know what that's like, because I did have a moment where I thought I was about to be taken up out of here
Girl.
as a little
And,
black girl.
Nicole, you had that moment with Nicole, didn't you? In the thing where she was getting fresh.
Which one?
There was
in
many
her
moments
bedroom.
when she got
Oh, in the
fresh.
bedroom. Oh,
You
yeah.
had to give it a little snap, crackle, and
Oh,
pop.
yeah. Oh, that's right. When I got in her face. Oh, yeah, because she was talking so smart.
Yeah,
I was like, this
and
would
no,
not
and
You had to
happen.
hold her back.
But
Yes,
the
child.
thing was, she had to. It wasn't in the script like that, though.
No.
Nicole was
Okay,
oh,
do
yeah,
tell.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was
No,
like,
that was beautiful.
this black mama, she would not take that. I'm sorry. She would be on that.
Yeah.
On that.
So some things had to go in there and make some changes.
That's right. That's right.
Russell, you got to direct this season. Last time I talked to you, when I talked to you during season 3, you told me that you were going to be directing for season
Yes.
4. So how did that go for you?
I think it went very well. I mean, I directed episode 7 of season 3, and then bringing me in episode 2 of season 4. There is a lot to learn. I learned a lot, but it was really just an opportunity to help be a part of telling the whole story. And I think that was really enriching to me. I was saying earlier that when you're a young actor, you're really very selfish and how you approach the work and how you approach the material.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you really want to know and tell the whole story. You want to be a part of being honest and truthful about who these characters are. And I think that it definitely helped that, being an actor coming in to direct on the show is that I felt like I was really able to tap into each actor individually and give them something to hold on to, give them something that was sort of in a concrete emotionally that could help elevate their performance. And also it was just a gift and a joy to work with the young actors as well. and just see how they've grown as individuals, but also as artists as well.
And Micole, what did it feel like for you to be directed by your co-star?
It was awesome. It really was. It was just like the first season that he directed. Oh man, we had a party. We everybody was like cheering. We were so excited, just cheering him on, like and just knowing how he feels about the work and he's so invested in it and stuff. We were just pumping him up. It was just the most exciting day. And then and the second time around is just even more like and he gave me things that helped, especially in season 3, that really helped to elevate the performance and stuff. He gave me some nice gems, and in this moment that we had in the dining room. And that was really, really sweet. And it's just been beautiful to watch his journey during this. Is really, really inspiring, actually. And I'm so proud of him.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's my
flowers
friend.
while you're still here. I love it. I also noticed this season that there was a lot of struggling going on. There was a lot of struggling going on emotionally. There was a lot of struggling going on physically. And as actors, I know that, at some point in your career, even after you've had moments of pockets of success, there was some struggle. Can you remember a time for both of you that you struggled so hard as an actor that you really didn't see your way out of it? And then when you did find yourself on the other side of it, how did that make you feel?
The more the blessing had to come to me to come through me, and as I was helping other people, the energy just started shifting, and anyway, and it was like I was just kind of burning off something from my energetic field, and the more I gave, just work just started happening, and BMF was actually very much a part of that. And the day I used to plan my energy work sessions and stuff at 11 a.m. And the day that I found out that I got BMF was 11/11.
Stop it.
Yeah, no. So I was like, and so it just told me that you're on the right path. You're in alignment with everything that you're supposed to be. And anyway, so now when I look at the valley of my life at that time, it was still all part of the journey. And so I count it all joy. That's a Bible verse. That's good. So I do that because without having kind of hit my rock bottom in that way, it forced me to shift my focus into a part of my life that has really changed me completely. And so I just try to incorporate that now in everything I do.
I was in a valley from that standpoint of just not having work that was of substance and that was substantial and that was using my full voice and my full depth and breadth of talent. And then once that opportunity came, things started to shift and take an upward cycle or upward trajectory, excuse me. And got those opportunities to really express who I am as an artist, but also as a man and as an individual with a sense of purpose and a sense of consciousness and a point of view as well, And so now the kind of work you do, you get to display aspects of who you are in the work, which I think is vitally important.
Listen, I've known both of you for a long time. I've never had the pleasure of working with either one of you, but what I do know about both of you collectively and individually is that you're amazingly gifted artists. And it was only a matter of time before your peak showed its face. There was never going to be a time where either one of you were going to be in a valley for any extended period of time. So I'm happy to see that you both are at the crest peak right now, and that it's not going to stop there. It's just going to keep going. And I appreciate that when I request to speak to you, that you always say yes. So thank you for giving me your time today. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much,
I
Carlos.
appreciate you, love.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll see y'all soon. I really do enjoy when I'm speaking to people that I've known for a long time, and I get to revel and cheerlead their success. I say that here all the time. So I meant what I said when I said what I said to Russell and Micole. I've watched them for a long time, and they are brilliant, brilliant artists and amazing human beings. So thank you once again, you guys. Please check out BMF, that is streaming on the Stars channel right now. Lilo and Stitch is in theaters right now. The Residence is streaming on Netflix. And what was the other thing? Oh, check out my conversation with Cross on Half Hour With. When I come back, oh, and I talked about The Life of Chuck too, didn't I? The Life of Chuck. Check out Tom Hiddleston in The Life of Chuck. You will not be sorry. When I come back next week, I'm going to give a full review of this movie right here, Ballerina, starring my girl Ana de Armas. I kind of love her. Ana de Armas is the bomb. So when I come back, I'll be talking about Ballerina. I'll also be talking about a show that I'm streaming called Sirens. I love this show. I love me some Julianne Moore. She can do no wrong. This show is fabulous. It's streaming on Netflix. I'll tell you all about it next week. I also will be talking about Karate Kid Legends, and I'll be talking about the Phoenician Scheme. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. I thank you so much for joining me. Give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you were here. I don't know if you were here if you don't give me a big thumbs up, y'all. Come on now. Holla at your girl. Let me know what's going on. Have a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. Click the bell for notifications if you are on YouTube. If you are watching this via Facebook, via X, via Instagram, via any place where you can stream a podcast, I thank you so much for taking the time to watch me. It really means a lot to me that you support me, whether you watch in real time or after the fact. So having said that, thank you so much. And I will see you next week on the flip side. Deuces.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love,